2.5 minutes then. Everybody's onto the Blockhaus. I've seen the fight for the Red Bull kilometre here. Gap's not really changing too much. You get the feeling that on the lay maybe reeling him in a bit.
It's not far at all, that, but it's just the effort that it takes to jump across that. You know, it's a long climb. They've been riding hard all day, and just to jump across there, it's doable. But after that, there's an explosion. So he doesn't want to do it straight away. 100 metres to go before the Red Bull sprint.
Naberman, by the way, has been caught. So there's 3 riders in front of the peloton, and remember, 3 lots of seconds to be given out as well, 6, 4 and 2. 6 seconds and the €2,000. The points in the Red Bull kilometre competition are going to go to Nicolas Zukowski. Second place for Jardi van der Lee, a VF Education Easy Post. And look at that, the Canucks are in town. Zukowski for the Great White North, the maple leaf is on show, and the former national champion goes past his people. Van der Lee about to get on the wheel. Uruguayans are in town as well. In fact, that's Tomas Silva's father. It's narrow, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what's happening behind there. We see Sevilla coming across that Red Bull kilometre, lost about 1.5 minutes already, but there's no surprise in that. He'll just be feet up, try to get to the top.
It's an important development, though, that we see this, because that means the bonus seconds are gone, Sean.
Yes, well, the bonus seconds were gone, and I don't think who would be really interested in the peloton. But you never know. If it's up there for an easy take, there would be some of the riders would just, you know, pop out there and take what was left, but it's not going to be the case here. But on the climb here, you can see the guys there just, you know, keeping working away at it. After this breakaway, being a long one all day out there, you know, the fatigue is in the legs, but you just keep on tapping away at it, and you know, just close to your maximum, but not overdoing it here. But now we can see Visma Capernet's starting to, you know, take control of the front here, and they know here 2:23 at the moment with this distance to go. They're not in any difficulty, but Red Bull starting to, you know, push on as well. This is going to be the interesting one. Who's going to be the team who really push on, you know, first and really start to blow this peloton apart?
Well, Netcompany started. Jack Haig's at the front of their small train right now. Then it was Campanards, but not everybody was there. You can just see on the left, the yellow as we look at it. Sepp Kuss wasn't in the line. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, they were all there, all lined up and being led to the front by Ben Zwihoff. We look to the back here at Igor Arrieta. He's got the white jersey on today. Let's see how far he can get in. He currently sits second in the general classification at 2 minutes and 51, the stage winner the other day from the Basque Country.
That's already a small group as well, Robbie. Look how many guys have just pulled the pin as soon as he got onto the bottom of this climb, get up there easily. It's a mix of the GC guys and riders who are helping teammates and riders who are just trying to hang on for as long as possible going up here now. But that is a very reduced group already.
Leknesson, I think, off the back there. Oliveira was just in a little bit of trouble. These two have got together for now.
They're doing a good job. Like they've lost 20 seconds since they got on the climb, and considering, you know, 3Ks into the climb, it's not too bad going. And yes, we are to hit the harder slope still, but you got to take your hats off to them. They're doing a job at the minute, and Campanarts as well. I'd expected them to ride harder at the bottom, being overtaken by Red Bull already.
Campanarts is there, Lemon is there as well. Left-hand side, we can see Kuss.
Well, you know, they have their tactic here, and we could see Capernet's on the front. He was just tapping out that pace, and if somebody wants to come to the front and take it up, leave them at it here and just sit back and follow. And you can see here, you know, the number of jerseys from Visma. There are quite a few here with Vingegaard, so it's not a problem here, but this is going to cause some problems now if Red Bull really start pushing on at this point with the distance to go here. You know, the riders that are not feeling good at this point, they're going to be thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a long one, and we're only on the easier part. As we get further up, it's going to be the real test here. But you see Arrieta there sitting at the rear. That's not a good point there, because, you know, there's gaps going to open the moment somebody really inject a bit of pace here, and is he starting to feel the effects of this stage and what he's been done in the past days.
Jan Christen, his teammate, by the way, was sitting much further up on the wheel of the main GC contenders. Zvihov continues. Aleotti's on his wheel. Then you go to Pellizzari, the young star. Vlasov, and then Hindley, the winner here last time. Campenaerts has found his mates. Now Adams off to get ready for the breakaway. We'll hear his thoughts alongside those of Orla, Matt and Robbie at the end of the day. 10 kilometers to go. Gap down to 2 minutes. We're settling in for a Blockhaus blockbuster. 2 leaders with 2 minutes and the gap is going down. Finish the phrase, it goes to 1:59. Van der Leyen and Zukowski. The Dutchman in that green and pink. The navy jersey on the back of Zukowski, the man from Pinarello, Q36.5, sitting on the wheel of his adversary, for now teammate, I guess, from EF Education Easy Post. Just get the feeling, Sean, as soon as there's another acceleration, if that fight continues for the front of the bunch, the gap could disappear rather quickly.
Yes, it will disappear rapidly once they really start pushing on. And you can see that the guys in front here, they are starting to struggle. You can see they're slowing down gradually here, and it's not a surprise because they've been out there so long. And now we have these new riders coming to the front, and the first time we've seen them on our screens all day, so they have been waiting in the background here and slowly just ramping up the pace here. And, yeah, the gap 1:48 at the moment. If this breakaway had maybe stayed more together, and if they had 6 minutes going on to the climb, and I was saying 5 or 6 minutes would it be enough. It's possible if you had 4 or 5 riders, they'll stay together, but we did see there were some of the breakaways struggling quite a long way out.
Well, some are climbing better than others, tactically waiting for their moment as well. Zvihov is done at the front, by the way. Aleotti took over, the climbing rock on which that dual leadership of Hindley and Pellizzari should be able to lean upon. Vlasov still waiting for them as well, as we see Van der Leyen and Zukowski, their gap down already. Since we had the conversation about 300 meters ago, it's gone down by 25 seconds. That is Campenaerts done, and not really able to affect things at the front. Yes, he positioned his leaders, but he wasn't able to take a turn. That's rare for someone like him, and just shows that Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe here are trying to threaten.
Well, they are the ones that are putting on the pressure here, and we know with Campenaerts he's been doing a lot of pulling and dragging, as we say. He went into that breakaway on the very bad day, and all of that can leave just traces for quite a number of days. And this is the time when you say, why do they go do that into breakaways? But it's a surprise to see Campenaerts. When the pace is like this, he's able to keep this pace, but when it really starts to ramp up, that's where he's in difficulty. But in difficulty very, very early on this one.
And we're seeing where we are on Blockhaus. We haven't even got to the harder bits yet. Tailwind at the moment, as we saw that flag of North Macedonia just tied to the mast there. Got down to 1.5 minutes. You mentioned Arrieta. He was just starting to lose half a wheel the last time we looked at the back. Nine kilometers to go. And there is Igor Arrieta on the left-hand side in the white jersey for the best young rider, with 9K still to go on Blockhaus, radioing in to say he's struggling, to say he's about to be dropped with him. Koen Bouwman, 1:46 there, as well as Alan Hatherley, who's discovering a Grand Tour for the first time. But Arrieta's trying to fight at least. But it's a big gap that now.
Yes, it's going to be a difficult one at 9 kilometers plus to go here, and this is just a real strong pace being set by Red Bull on the front. And when you're in difficulty already, and you look up in front of you of all the riders, there's going to gaps start to appear, and it's not looking good for Arrieta.
Scottson disappears there for Decathlon. Gal is in the right place. On his wheel was the Maglia Rosa Eulalio, who was with Arrieta the other day. Eulalio still in the bunch. There's a conversation on the right of your picture there between riders representing Visma Lease bike. Kuss remains for Vingegaard. Added to Barrett Lemon. In fact, I would say it's Davide Piganzoli, pardon me. Surprised that there's only those with him?
Yes, it is a surprise. Considering this climb, there haven't been really any big action. And, you know, the teams there that you would expect, Red Bull, Bora, Visma Lease bike, you'd expect more riders to be able to stay a bit further up this climb, but yeah, they're disappearing very, very quickly. And what happens when they do all disappear? Because 8.7 kilometers to go, it's a long ways for, you know, like the leaders of the Red Bull team, or for Visma. Vingegaard, will he attack at this point, this far out, when it does really run out of domestiques and pace sets on the front?
Look how cold it is out there as well. Everybody's wrapped up like we were watching Tirreno Adriatico. For UAE Emirates, if Arrieta was already at the back, Narvaez is about to join him. He will have other ambitions further down the line. This is Svestad Bursteng there, and that is Van der Leij, looking like he's riding away from Zukowski, with the breakaways gap down to 300 meters now, and 1 minute and 8. One of the rarer, flatter sections. Let's go to Jens, shall we? I think we will be able to go to him in just a moment's time. There's excitement everywhere. Kaski's doing his best to return. Riders so used to watching their numbers. Of course, there's that extra kick of energy that comes from knowing you're at the front of the race, you're there in the Giro, giving everything you can, emptying the tank here. Look how exposed it is. Visma Lease bike take over at the front. Piganzoli, Kuss, Vingegaard. Behind you've got Pellizzari and Hindley. The wind is absolutely howling from the side. Let's go to Jens to see what it feels like out there.
Okay, very good, very good.
Jens on the side of the mountain, how's it feel? It looks so windy. No, I don't think Jens can hear us. Let's concentrate on the race. Magnarosa right on the wheel of Vingegaard. Pellizzari behind him, Hindley's there as well. Wind causing the odd little bit of a gap as well. And look at this. That's Johannes Kulset in the red jersey. Took a bit of time back in the GC, 5th in the general classification. He's going to lose time today, Sean.
Yes, he is going to lose time. When you look at 8 kilometres to go and they're starting to get into difficulty, we see the pace being set by Visma. This is causing problems here. And now we can see the wind conditions. The riders are just over there in the left-hand gutter, the way they're climbing the mountain. That just tells that side wind. That is a problem. You can see there with the spectators the way it's, you know, blown across the road. This is where, you know, if you're in a little bit of difficulty at all and then you find yourself in the wind, not getting that little bit of shelter, well then this is where you're going to really go into the wind.
Zukowski's really fighting. They're at 50 seconds. You see the splits there with Caruso really cleverly moving up alongside Eulalio the last time we saw it. Just sheltering him from the wind as Van der Leij comes back. 17.5 minutes into this climb. Not quite halfway up yet. The white jersey, by the way, losing almost a minute on the Maglia Rosa. Piganzoli really, really riding difficultly. Oh, now then. They talked about Jan Christen. He himself is off the back as well. We talked about finding out, and we are finding out.
Well, this was the day where we could see some of the men that are still up in the GC classification in difficulty, and this is the first one we're seeing. And we talked about Jan Christian from the moment they had a difficulty with UAE, losing Adam Yates and another number of their riders for the general classification. Would he be able to carry it?
Enric Mas alongside Egan Bernal. Sorry, Sean, but they're two big names. They're off the back. They're in trouble.
Yes, more in trouble. And yeah, this is a pace that is going to really test everybody. Visma Elisa bike just turning the screw here and putting a lot of these big favourites in difficulty. But Mas is a rider that, you know, he can just lose a little bit, and then if it knocks it off a little bit out in front, well, he might get back in there. As we can see, you know, they're just trying to work with him here to keep him in contact.
It's the former Maglia Rosa, Juan Pedro Lopez, who's doing his best to help his brand new teammate back. Gala on the left-hand side still following well. He's got Gregor Mühlberger with him, who's the rider in the Decathlon jersey, just trying to shelter as much as he can his teammate. Davide Piganzoli's doing quite the job here.
He's doing a lot of damage. You see the riders he's pushing out the rear, and this group is getting, you know, smaller and smaller very quickly, and just 7.4 kilometers to go. And now we're coming into the more difficult part, and this is where, yeah, we should see, or maybe see, some of the attacks from Alex Vingegaard. If he goes at this point, well, then there will be a bomb go off in this group.
Enric Mas has had another domestique drop back to try and help him. It's not his day, and his Giro debut, the big hopes they had, the aims for the podium, could be going up in smoke here right inside. Mas looks he's having a nightmare.
Bernal also in difficulty there. We can see the way he's zigzagging a bit, and in the meantime, this man from Visma Elisa by Piganzoli, he is really putting the pressure on.
Mas here on the left-hand side. On the right, Rubio's helping as much as he can. Lopez is there, so you can see the way they're angled. It's like they're riding a classic in the crosswinds.
Open.
This is so hard, and this is such a sad sight for Movistar and Spanish fans. Bernal, we sort of got a wind of it the other day, didn't we? A couple of times he was dropped. There's confirmation that he is likely to lose time here. He's losing 30 seconds at the minute. Vingegaard had been on the radio there as they turn around every corner. Just keeping an eye on the Maglia Rosa. He slipped a few places. He's still halfway in the bunch. They're 20 seconds away from the front of the race now. The stage win is certainly going to the group of favourites. Visma Lease bike is setting up, trying to take it. Piganzoli there, still working, still riding. This is Cepeda, who's now been dropped. Van Eertveld as well. He goes backwards, number 78 in the red jersey. And also losing a bit of time, Jan Hirt. He had been up there, level time with Vingegaard. He's just making sure he makes an effort to get as close to the group as he can. And there are splits everywhere. The Maglia Rosa's made this one now. So much damage being done by Davide Piganzoli. Sepp Kuss is yet to hit the front. Net Company Ineos still having Thymen Arendsman there. Ben O'Connor remains. The Maglia Rosa's still there. Looks as though he might be on his own though now. I think Caruso's just lost contact with the back of that group. This is a brutal blockhouse. What makes this nasty? There's no one ridiculous wall. There's just a complete lack of relief. The gradient, the conditions, the wind, and the power being put through the pedals as Derek G. West also loses contact at the back of the group. Ciccone is still in there. Gal remains. Ciccone towards the back of this group on the wheel of the purple jersey, O'Connor. The breakaway is brought back. 6.5 kilometers to go. Credit too, you have to say, to the Tudor boys. They're there just in front of Chris Harper. Tudor riders Rondel and Storer. Derek G losing time. Caruso stayed as long as he could with the Maglia Rosa, who's on his own for the moment. Well, that's that for Piganzoli. What a turn he's done. It's now down to Sepp Kuss as Gregor Mühlberger wants Piganzoli out the way. He's obviously going well. He can sit there at the back for now. Harper just losing contact at the back, bit by bit. This is a real grind. It is just attrition aggression, and it is unstoppable right now.
Yes, and 6 kilometres plus to go, and the riders that have dropped a little bit here, like Derek G, we can see, they might be just working to their power, and it could be an advantage here, because the riders that are still up here in the group, if you really go deep, and as we're coming into 6 kilometres still to go, a lot of very steep gradients to come, you could pay for that effort, and sometimes riders can lose quite a bit but actually come back in the end, and we could see riders still up there in the front being taken over by riders who've been dropped quite early.
Damiano Caruso on the wheel of Derek G. Mühlberger's fighting to stay with Gal as much as he can. Pellizzari on the wheel of Hindley. It's Kuss with Vingegaard on the wheel right now, and Alfonso Lalio remains in the bunch, in the group, surviving in pink. He's fighting though, he's moving the bike. Arensman's still there. O'Connor remains. Storer, Rondel and Giulio Ciccone. That might be that for Mühlberger, who pulls off to the side. Left-hand side of your picture, he was the last remaining domestique. The Gregario here for Felix Gal. Just watching the Maglia Rosa, he slipped another couple of places.
Yes, he has slipped a little bit, but again it's difficult here because it's moving about a bit, and the rider's trying to move up, so you can get a little bit crowded out, but he's starting to looking like he's in difficulty.
That's that for now for the Maglia Rosa, but remember, he has over 6 minutes on the group in front of him. He has to keep his head, he has to work to his power. Alfonso Lalio, it's not over for him yet.
No, it's not over. He has the big advantage, and that is going to be the good point here. He just have to keep on working on it, but he did go, I think, into the red a bit too much, because you see the way he lost ground.
And an attack from Jonas Vingegaard with 5.5 kilometers to go. Vingegaard is launched by Kuss at the moment, able to follow Pellizzari, Gal, Hindley, and there's a small gap to Arensman. The party started, and straight away we look down, the gaps start to get bigger. Gal, I think he's struggling to hold on. Hindley is gone. Pellizzari seeing half a wheel open up as well. It's what we've been building up for. It's what we've been waiting. And look at that damage.
Wow. And we can see there that, just gaps appearing all over the place. And with this 5.3 kilometers to go and the gradient they have to get over, it is going to be a one where, there's a lot of riders going to lose a lot of time here. But Pellizzari recovering quite well and getting the wheel, we can see. Vingegaard having a look there to see what is the position behind, but as I said, when Vingegaard attacks, well, this will just blow this group apart, and that's what's happened. We have riders now, gaps appearing very quickly.
Jonas Vingegaard making his move with 5.5 Ks to go. Giulio Pellizzari is showing that for the moment he is equal to it. His teammate Hindley tried to follow. Gal made the effort as well, but the gap looking down from that helicopter there, it was huge already. Gal's the rider at the end of the picture. They're just working at it. We know he's a pure climber. This is his bag. The wind on the right side blowing in the side of the road. What's the situation behind? Because it's been blown to bits, this. There's a Tudor jersey at least in that next group. Storer and Rondel have been looking good. The Maglia Rosa, by the way, at 42 seconds. From these two, there was over 6 minutes. But there's still 5 Ks to ride.
Yes. And we can see Felix Gal, he's recovering a bit here and just starting to work away at it. And that's the type of climber Felix Gal is. He does not do that big explosive effort. He just, continue working. And we can see Vingegaard here. He is, getting a little bit concerned. Piganzoli, or not Piganzoli, Pellizzari, sorry. He is the one who is, sitting on here, and is he just, really on the limit here, sitting on the wheel? That is the question. I think we will see Vingegaard just putting another little push on to see can he get rid of his wheel.
Chris Harper on the wheel there. This is another acceleration from Vingegaard. How's Pellizzari looking?
I think he is. He's working on it quite a lot, but I think all are digging deep here, because this is the point now where Vingegaard has set off here, and he just wants to try and just get away alone and then get into his rhythm. But Pellizzari is, clinging on all the time.
Back with Gal at just 17 seconds. You mentioned, Sean, he's not one for the big accelerations. As O'Connor is looking the best in the next group. Ciccone also riding really well on home roads. Oh, no. There's a gap. There's movement. It's taken Jonas Vingegaard just over a kilometre since his attack to go alone, go solo. He has dropped to Giulio Pellizzari. And Jonas Vingegaard, as many forecasted at this Giro, is alone on the first mountain. So Pellizzari seeding. He should find an ally in Gal. But damage is being done here. Well,
it's going to be an interesting one now as Gal come to catch Pellizzari. Is he after going too deep and not being able to follow Felix Gal when he comes up to him? And that is, how deep do you go? You cannot go into the red at this point, still with plus 4 kilometres to go. You have to just knock it back a bit. But it's always difficult when you're, in the heat of the moment here. You can make that mistake where you just go too far for too long and then you pay the price. But it looks like he's getting into his rhythm here, and but we can see to the man out front, the gap is grown to be a big one.
This climb is long, narrow, steep, battered by wind. It is relentless. Maglia Rosa just over the minute from Jonas Vingegaard. Vingegaard, who's already won on Italian soil in a Grand Tour. That was the Vuelta, Limone Piemonte. He's hoping to complete the set, and he's going about it the right way here. Of course, he's won both the Vuelta and the Tour overall with stage wins along the way. Giro's the next aim. The start's gone well for him. The first attack has done damage. Now here's the moment that Gal reaches Pellizzari. And Gal is going around Pellizzari. No reaction. Pellizzari's left looking backwards.
Yes, we see Gal there. He just came to the wheel, and he just a fraction he just stayed it and then just give this acceleration, not to give him the chance to get onto the wheel here. And this is the fight now for the places and of course the general classification. And now we can here see Aaron's man just continue on to tap this rhythm out here, and the two Tudor men and Ciccone, he's doing a good ride, but we can see the gaps are growing, and in this final number of kilometres for Vingegaard, he's going to chalk out quite a big advantage.
It's the boys from WA, the Perth boys, Ben O'Connor, Jai Hindley, together, chasing at 58 seconds. They're working at it. Back to the Maglia Rosa. He was with a chasing group. Looks like he's slipping further. But 125 won't set off the panic alarms just yet. By my count, there's nobody else in between who could take the Maglia Rosa off him. It's he, or it's the riders in the overall general classification, the favourites, even though they started at 6 minutes. It would require a bigger blow-up if he's to lose the jersey today, you feel? He's got to keep working, Sean.
Yes, he is going to keep working. And we can see there he's going quite well, and with the advantage you have in the overall classification, he's going to hold on unless he really blows apart in the final 3.5 kilometres there, 3.3. It looks that he is going to definitely stay in the pink jersey. But this man Felix Gal, 16 seconds. When we see front of Gal, it looked to be quite a long straight. It looked a bigger gap than that, but Gal is starting to get into the rhythm. As I said, that's the type of rider he is. He just keeps on that pace, and he can just get into the rhythm a bit better, and he is holding well here.
Just over 1,000 days since his last win. It requires something truly special here to dethrone Vingegaard on the day. But stranger things have happened. Vingegaard's getting that encouragement. He's past the steepest part. It's around about there where he launched his attack. 8% though, remains steep. It's relentless. 3 kilometers to the finish for Jonas Vingegaard, who has 20 seconds on Felix Gall, 53 seconds on the Australian pairing of O'Connor and Hindley. Giulio Pellizzari's somewhere in there as well. Magliaro's at 1:55. Looks as though he's starting to lose time a little quicker now. And Gall's losing time as well here. Vingegaard obviously putting in another dig. Somewhere ahead of these two is Pellizzari. There he is. Try to follow Vingegaard. It looks as though he's probably paying for that now.
Yes, it seems he just tried to hold on to Vingegaard for a bit too far and then did pay. And yeah, he's getting back into his rhythm here, but he did have a difficult moment. And it's all about how deep you go. And as I said, it's always, you know, they're working to their power output again. But when you're in that situation, you're with this man here, Vingegaard, you try and hold on. You say to yourself, well, he's not going to be able to go at this pace all the way. He will, you know, just slow down a little bit. He's just trying to, you know, really test me here. And if I get over this little section, then I can maybe stay with him. And yeah, you can pay dearly for that. But we can see Vingegaard, he is, you know, just slowly pulling away here. 22 seconds back to Gall, and yeah, it's going to be a one where I don't think we can see Gall challenge him as we go into the final 2.5k to go.
The gap is growing, isn't it? Record time on Blockhaus, 40 minutes 13 seconds. 2.5k's to go, and Vingegaard has just ticked past 32 minutes. He's flying. Vingegaard riding the Giro for the first time in his career, isn't he? Came under so much pressure. He's hoping to become the first rider of his generation to claim all 3 Grand Tour titles. It's this Grand Tour leader that's being helped by a man who's finished on the podium before. Caruso shepherding Afonso Lalio to the top. 2 minutes 6 is the arrears time at the moment. 2.2k's to go for Vingegaard. He's building all of those gaps. They're all increasing, it seems.
Yes, well, it's understandable as you go further up the climb, as you've made a big effort with the attack of Vingegaard. It's just the stronger riders slowly just pull out that advantage, and that is what Vingegaard is doing against the others here. Yeah, it looks like that the pink jersey is defending very well, and with Caruso here, that is going to help him. So he's probably going to lose 3.5 minutes maximum, so he will be solidly in the pink jersey for another day.
Pellizzari's been reached by the 2 Australians from WA, and Hindley now has come through to take turns. They're at 1 minute and 4, by the way. Around 45 seconds from the man on your screen now. Gall with that climbing style of his, knees slightly out, but it's effective. He has incredible power numbers. He is a pure climber. His gap has just gone down by a few seconds to 18. You can see and hear that wind as well. Intrigue after to see how much it affected everybody. I think climbing Blockhaus is the most pleasant experience unless you're climbing to win. Even worse today.
No, we did see in the earlier part of the climb the decathlon team, Mulberger, he did a magnificent job for Felix Gall, just, you know, riding beside him there and just giving him a bit of shelter, and you know, that just helps enormously as you go further up the climb. If you're further back, or you're not really in the wheel at the good side to get that shelter, well, then you can pay for it. And some of the riders, I think, you know, were in difficulty because they had not teammates with them.
It's been as forecast so far on Blockhaus, but Gall, I can tell you, is getting closer. 17 seconds now, 1.4k's to go. Chasing group, that's staying pretty much the same as well. The Magliarosa group was hemorrhaging time for a while. That's 2:26. Now 16 seconds to go, and he can see Jonas Vingegaard up the road. How will he be feeling here?
Well, when you see him, when you see the man leading, and when you see a rider as Vingegaard just up in front of you, that gives you huge courage, and it gives you a lot more to just really dig in here in this final 1.2 kilometres and see how close you can get to him, because you are the one is the better one in these final kilometres to the top here, so that gives you that morale boost, and you can just really do great things in that situation.
That's the power he's putting through at the minute. That's 400 watts. 4%, looks around, and he too should see Gal. Just over a kilometre to go. Remember, we're told that the arch might not be fully up there. Most of the difficult bits have been done. What a ride this is from Felix Gal. He's turned up to this Giro, and he's very much in the fight. Well, we do have an arch of some sort here, showing us there's a kilometre to go. Vingegaard attacked with 5.5 k's to the finish, and he's on to set the climbing record for Blockhaus. It's going to be an historic fast ascent by one of the modern masters. Vingegaard getting to the more exposed, flatter section. He'll make the final turn up to the finish, and it'll go uphill once again, as Felix Gal is now 15 seconds behind and fighting his own way into general classification contention. The Maglia Rosa slid into 2 minutes 43, but he'll be happy with this. Chasing group at 1:11. And when Vingegaard went at 1.5 k's to go, you feared the gaps might be bigger.
Yes, I was thinking that this was going to be a much bigger advantage as we come close to the finish here. I thought Vingegaard could put a minute to a minute and 30 into his rivals, but Felix Gal has really got into the rhythm here and really climbed excellently.
Vingegaard, like everybody, on the limit, but he's going to take the final turn, knowing that victory will be his. He came to this Giro d'Italia with a couple of aims. The first was to win a stage, and he's about to do that. Around the corner, into the finish straight, after over 6 hours of racing. The longest Grand Tour stage for 5 long years. The longest ever to finish on Blockhaus. 245 k's. The team set him up. He's done his thing. Jonas Vingegaard is laying the foundations. Felix Galdo's in the shot behind, and it's going to be game on for the Giro. They're here and up for the fight, but Vingegaard is as well. Vingegaard wins at the Giro, completes the set of Grand Tour stage wins, and sets up an assault on the Maglia Rosa. But not far behind, and bringing down the seconds to the last, is a gaining Felix Gal. Only 12 seconds on the road, and Gal is right up for this. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe with their former winner Hindley. Their young talent Pellizzari have numbers to play with too, and Ben O'Connor is showing he is standing tall. Vingegaard takes victory, but doesn't have it completely his own way. Well, that's the big news today. I think a Vingegaard victory isn't the most surprising thing, Sean. However, Gal is right there where he needs to be. In the meantime, you've got Hindley going for everything. He's going to take the bonus seconds here. 4 bonus seconds will go for him behind Pellizzari. There is O'Connor. Memories coming back there for Hindley. He'll take third. He'll take those 4 bonus seconds. 4th on the stage goes to Pellizzari. 5th to Ben O'Connor. And Jonas Vingegaard victorious. However, not putting the minutes and the huge terrain into his rivals you feared he might do.
No, that was the question today. We were wondering how much of a dominant hit he would put in here, Jonas Vingegaard, but yeah, Felix Gal doing a really good performance, and the rest, a minute down here we could see Pellizzari, O'Connor and Hindley, also a good ride here. It's still very much an open race.
Rondel across the line, here comes the homeboy Ciccone, G, Arensman and Storer across the line. 1:45 have passed. Vingegaard's already being congratulated by his family. He's done the job, and he's now won a stage at all 3 Grand Tours. He's the 115th rider to complete the set. But he isn't yet going to take the Maglia Rosa, if indeed he is at all. Here's Jan Hirt. He comes home with Chris Harper, Giro stage winner from last year. That's 2:13 down. And Damiano Caruso is the deluxe escort for the man who is set to stay in pink on the top of Blockhaus. Alfonso Lalio is going to take Maglia Rosa number 3 of his career. And for a 3rd successive day, will be in it. 2.5 minutes, a little bit more. He's got enough in him to sprint to the line. And Alfonso Lalio is here to fight to keep the lead. He's stood up. He certainly has been counted. And he's going to finish in front of other GC contenders. Here in this Group 2, you've got the likes of Bernal. There is the Maglia Rosa. 2:55 is the deficit. And Alfonso Lalio remains in the lead of the Giro d'Italia after its first tough mountaintop finish.
Yes, a real good ride by Lalio here. I was concerned when he did go that he was going to, chip a lot more time here, but got back into the rhythm, and then we could see Caruso doing a great job here. And yeah, this is the performance we were saying. Maybe 3 minutes he might lose, but yeah, he is still very much in the pink jersey here. But we can see Visma Lisa bike, when they just put on that pressure, they did put a lot of the big favourites in difficulty very early.
Big Anzoli did so much damage. This is David de la Cruz in the meantime. Leonard van Eertveld just behind him. Next over should be Aleotti, I think, of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. And talk about the wind in the corners. Visma Lisa bike have got their job done. Vingegaard is now a Grand Tour stage winner at Tour, Vuelta and Giro. He's won on Blockhaus, beating Felix Gall, Jai Hindley, Giulio Pellizzari and Ben O'Connor. But the big news, as well as Vingegaard's win, is that Gall is here to fight. He was gaining time in the end, and Alfonso Lalio retains the Maglia Rosa with a nice, comfortable lead.
It's what we expected, but it's no less the impressive for it. Jonas Vingegaard with his first Giro stage win on his debut Giro d'Italia, becoming just the 115th rider in history to win stages at all 3 Grand Tours. An illustrious club indeed, Matt. However, we might have expected a more comprehensive win. Felix Gall behind was fantastic, wasn't he?
Yeah, paced that climb beautifully. Didn't get involved in the shenanigans early on. Just rode at the same pace. Didn't jump at all. Just rode the same pace. And in the last, went to 25 seconds on the final part of the climb. Pulled back another 7 or 8 seconds. That's really, really impressive. That's the standout ride today. We knew. Well, we didn't know, but we assumed this is a pretty predictable win, really, but it's not quite as emphatic as one would have thought. Lalio, a great battling performance, but Felix Gall is now the big contender for the 2nd spot on the podium, really. A long way to go, but I think that's the surprise ride. Only 13 seconds on one of the hardest climbs of the Giro. Interesting stuff.
Interesting, but still hugely impressive from Jonas Vingegaard, isn't it, Robbie? On Blockhaus, of all stages, of all climbs. He's never ridden a Giro d'Italia before. He's trying to win all 3 Grand Tours. Today was the day he'd marked for a stage win. And you've got to deliver. Easier said than done.
It always is. You've got to get everything right. Jonas did exactly that. They stated the ambition this morning. Mark Reif told us we want to win the stage. So that brings a lot of pressure. Yes, Jonas was expected to win. We got the expected result, but not exactly in the way we thought. It wasn't completely dominant in the way that he just blew everybody away. Felix Gall, what a ride. OK, the others were at a minute, and that's probably the expectation. But I found it hugely entertaining, just the toing and froing behind, where Pellizzari was there for such a long time and thought he can follow. Jonas is not going to be this dominant. Then he did crack, but then the resurgent Gall, it really made the race.
It's brilliant because it still gives us so much to talk about, doesn't it? It's wonderful to see.